If you're constantly bloated, exhausted, foggy, or reacting to foods, don't brush it off because these could be red flags for something deeper, what we call leaky gut. I'm sure that if the red lights on your car on the dashboard for your oil or for your temperature go off, you certainly wouldn't ignore those. So don't ignore the signs of the leaky gut. I'm Dr. Krystosik. I'm a functional medicine physician, and I specialize in natural solutions for chronic gut health problems. And today, I'm going to explain what the leaky gut syndrome is, how it develops, and more importantly, how to heal the leaky gut naturally. So stick with me until the end of this, because understanding this could completely shift the way you look at your health. And I promise you that your doctor more than likely doesn't know about this and probably will never talk to you about it. So please pay attention and stick with me until the end. So let's start with the basics. What is a leaky gut? Well, it's what we call the increased intestinal permeability. Now that's what scientists call the leaky gut. And it's lots of research on it. It happens when the lining of your gut gets inflamed and it gets damaged. Now think of your gut lining like a coffee filter. Imagine that for a minute. It's designed to let the good stuff in, like nutrients and vitamins and minerals, but it blocks everything that could possibly damage it. So you don't want to have undigested food particles or toxins, bacteria, or other things that could damage the lining of your gut leak into your bloodstream. That's not what you want to happen. That sets off inflammation and it confuses your immune system. So leaky gut can lead to a wide range of symptoms. And in 2017, in the journal called Frontiers of Immunology, they confirmed that increased intestinal permeability, that's the leaky gut, is associated with inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and even celiac disease, and conditions that we call metabolic disorders, like diabetes and weight gain and other problems that are systemic, insulin resistance. A lot of those things what we call metabolic disorders. Well, right now I want to talk about the symptoms. What are the symptoms of leaky gut? Well, you may recognize them as bloating. You might have reactions to foods, chronic fatigue, you have skin problems like eczema or acne, or you could have brain fog, joint pains, autoimmune disease. There's over 125 autoimmune diseases. And unfortunately, many of the symptoms and many of the diseases that are associated with leaky gut are just brushed off or they're misdiagnosed. That's a major problem as well. But if you're experiencing any one of the symptoms that I've been talking about, don't ignore them because it could be signaling that there's an internal breakdown in the function of your gut. So what causes the leaky gut? What causes this condition? Well, leaky gut doesn't just appear out of nowhere, the thin blue air. It doesn't happen that way. It's usually the result of long-term exposure to things like toxins that irritate and inflame and damage the lining of the gut. Chemicals in the air, the water, and the food. And even medications, that's a lot of problem with it. Taking overuse of antibiotics and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. They're used like candy in our country. And poor lifestyle and dietary habits, which is very common again. The standard American diet we know is sad. It's just not good food that the average American is eating. Here are some of the most common culprits. Their diets high in processed foods that are loaded with sugar and refined carbohydrates, and especially even things like gluten sensitivity. That's a major problem. And many people have sensitivities to cow's milk products, milk and cheese and other dairy products from cow's milk. It's a major irritant to many people's gut linings, and it just goes undiagnosed. Chronic stress, that's another problem. That damages the gut lining and the barrier function, allows them toxins to get into the bloodstream. Again, regular use of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Ibuprofen is used like candy in this country. So repeated antibiotics, oh my gosh, that's a huge one. Doctors overprescribe antibiotics and use them like candy unnecessarily oftentimes when there's other alternatives that you can use that are much safer. Infections inside the gut, like in candida and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. We call that SIBO. Even parasites. Another one, excessive use of alcohol consumption. That's a major problem. And poor sleep patterns and irregular eating patterns. Researchers in the Journal of Nutrients back in 2020, they found that these factors that I'm talking about, the diet, the stress, the medications, they disrupt the lining of the gut and increase the permeability, allowing these toxic and waste matter to get into the bloodstream. Right now, I want to talk about how to heal the leaky gut naturally. That's the good sign. That's the hope that we have. This is not something that you have to live with the rest of your life. And most people overlook how to approach and deal with leaky gut. And I can tell you that most doctors never going to talk about this. First of all, you got to recognize there's no magic pills because Americans especially want quick fixes. And again, this is not going to happen overnight. Usually it takes 3 to 6 months, and you could fix it if you follow the treatment protocols that we'll be getting into. If you take it one step at a time, the leaky gut treatment is possible and it's effective naturally. First of all, step one, start by removing what's damaging the lining of your gut. Sugar, refined carbohydrates, overuse of antibiotics and anti-inflammatory medications, overuse of drinking alcohol, processed foods, as I said earlier, and things like gluten. And as I mentioned, many people have sensitivities to cow's milk. And you can really make a huge difference sometimes by just eliminating these things for short periods of time. And then you can reintroduce some of these things later on. Step two, you want to add the foods that heal the gut. So add in nutrient-dense foods, anti-inflammatory foods, like first of all, high-fiber foods, fermented foods, things like kombucha and non-dairy, unsweetened yogurt, and sauerkraut and kimchi. And then, of course, things like omega-3 fats from cold water fish, like wild-caught salmon. And using things like flax seeds and chia seeds that are high in fiber and really very supportive of the gut. Step three, support the gut with nutritional supplements. And I like to use herbs and foods. That's my favorite. And when I help my patients, that's the first thing I always tell people. Food is the best medicine. You could use some things like zinc carnosine. There's lots of research to show that zinc, specifically zinc carnosine, can really be very effective to heal the lining of the gut. And probiotics, that's something that we can get from fermented foods. These are the microbes that help to heal the lining of the gut. Strains like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria. You'll find those in fermented foods once again. I know a lot of people want to go ahead and grab the pills, but I like to use the foods first. A study back in 2021 in the journal called Microorganisms, they found that probiotics were able to show significant ability to heal the damaged lining of the gut. They restored the barrier function and reduced inflammation. So these bacteria that you'll find, like the bifidobacteria and the lactobacillus, are powerful healing agents. Number 4, you want to improve your lifestyle. Then things like managing stress and getting enough sleep and making sure that you do these things, because what they're going to do is they're going to prevent any future damage to the barrier, to the lining of the gut. Practice deep breathing. That's one of my favorites. Deep breathing helps to calm your nervous system, and it relaxes you and then helps to calm the communication between the gut and the brain. It's called the gut-brain axis. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Rest is so important because during sleep, your body repairs the damaged cells of your body. It's called autophagy. And again, this is very, very powerful. When you eat foods, chew your food thoroughly and eat in a calm, relaxing environment. This approach really works. I've helped thousands of my patients. But It requires patience. Healing doesn't happen overnight. Doing things consistently, you're going to see progress. So if this video helped you, my friends, connect the dots between your symptoms and the leaky gut syndrome. Tell somebody who needs to hear this about it. Join my community, the Gut 911 Prescription School community. You can find a link to it in the comments below. It's free, and I provide lots of resources for you to help to repair the lining of your gut and way beyond that. And again, you'll be with like-minded people to help you to restore your gut and help you become independently healthy. So subscribe to my channel, and you can get videos on gut health, on SIBO, on irritable bowel syndrome, on natural things to heal your gut, and a lot more. Your symptoms don't have to be a mystery, and your body doesn't have to stay stuck into that survival mode. With the right steps, you can heal your gut, reclaim your energy naturally. So until next time, my friends, ciao for now.